All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back into the Strive YouTube page. So I actually just recorded this video about 10 minutes worth and realized that I hadn't pressed a button on my audio interface that actually turns the microphone on. So we're going at this again, but as you can see by the title, we're talking about who should win the Heisman this year in college football. I think that this year, it's definitely one of the more wide open years than we've had in probably about 3 seasons, and maybe even before that, to be completely honest. But, this past year in 2019, we had Joe Burrow. Even the players there, Jalen Hurts, Chase Young, and Justin Fields were all like, yeah, we kind of know who's going to win this when they went in. Before that, you had Kyler Murray. That wasn't too hard to pick. And then before that, you had Baker Mayfield. So, once again, all those guys, number one NFL draft picks, right? And obviously, only one of them ended up winning a national championship and going undefeated. And that's just me tooting on my horn here, but regardless of that, we're talking about it this year, and it's much more wide open. I looked at the 24/7 updated 24/7 Sports. They showed the updated Vegas odds, right, and that can tell you a lot about where this Heisman race is really standing. And so in fifth place right now at about plus 1,500, there's Ian Book, and then in fourth place at plus 1,400, Trevor Lawrence, which I think probably would be a pretty easy pick in this year if he didn't go down with COVID and miss those weeks. Because if that doesn't happen and they're undefeated and say in that game against Notre Dame, he ends up winning and they're undefeated, I think he's probably far and away the easiest choice just because he's the most talented player by far in college football, in my opinion. Then at number 3, which I was very happy to see at plus 450, there is Devonta Smith, and we'll get into him in a little bit. And then at number 2 still is Kyle Trask at plus 350, which, look, yeah, all the stats and all the glitz and glamour and all that he's done. But I think he proved first in his loss to A&M, and then second in his recent loss to LSU, and historically and statistically, the worst defense and one of the they ranked last in the country at one point. They might still rank last in plays of 50-plus yards, and a lot of that is because of the secondary. He threw 2 interceptions and then also fumbled the ball away in a game where 26 freshmen and sophomores played. Derek Stingley, one of the best, if not the best, cornerback in the entire country, not playing. And Eli Ricks, a true freshman, who I have to give him his due. He's leading the country. And leading all he's leading all freshmen in interceptions and leading the country in pick sixes. So, I don't want to take that away from him. He's a very talented cornerback. And he read, Kyle Trask like a book on that slant route, took it to the house and stared him down. That just can't happen. You don't win the Heisman if that happens to you. And then on top of that, he makes this dumb throw. And if you don't make this throw into maybe triple coverage, regardless of if they're going out of bounds, maybe the ball doesn't doink off of Dwight McClernand's head, who's a true freshman playing in this game, who, didn't really get picked on too much either in his first significant minutes of the year against the Heisman frontrunner quarterback. And then Jay Ward reestablishes the ball in bounds, or himself in bounds, and gets an interception. So 2 true freshmen getting interceptions on Kyle Trask's on top of I forget who caused the fumble. I don't think it was a true freshman, but I know that B.J. Ojulari, a true freshman, did recover that. So, just not a good look there for Kyle Trask. I think that throws his Heisman hopes out the window, in my opinion. Maybe if he beats Bama, but I'm sorry. I don't think that he's the best player in college football, right? And so then at number 1 right now, minus 225, I believe that was the number they have Mack Jones. So here's the thing about Mack Jones, right? I get that this a lot of times is a quarterback reward, but let's look at number 3, Devonta Smith, in these rankings. He's number 6 on the field, number 3 in these Heisman odds. So he's got 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns, a punt return, and 83 catches. Here's the numbers for Mack Jones. 217 completions out of 280 or something, 3,300 yards, and 27 touchdowns with 3 interceptions. So he's 15 of Mack Jones, over 50% of Mack Jones' touchdown passes have been to Devonta Smith. If you take away 1,300 of his yards, because that was because of Devonta Smith too, he's at just 2,000 passing yards. That's not even, you know what I'm saying? That's not even above Trevor Lawrence or Kyle Trask or Ian Book for that matter. And then you take away 83 of his completions, right? And a lot of that is because, of course, Smitty's getting a lot of looks because of Jalen Waddle's injury. But, I mean, he had to step up. But here's the other thing. You can't say, oh, well, he's only making those numbers because Jalen Waddle's out. That doesn't take away from the fact that he's consistently burning these corners, in the toughest defensive back group in the country. And even if you don't believe that, you know that the SEC is one of the toughest defensive back groups in the entire country. And a lot of times, Mack Jones is just throwing up these passes. And yeah, they're beautiful passes that are kind of like lobs that give time for Smitty to get the ball and catch it on the run and take it to the house. He had like 200, almost 300 receiving yards against LSU in their own house, right? Where he was just tossing that thing up and Devonta was going to get there. But here's the thing, a lot of these other elite quarterbacks around the country, like Kyle Trask, like Trevor Lawrence, like Justin Fields, like a Zach Wilson, for example, it can make those throws just the same. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, yes, they're elite throws. I don't want to take away from the talent of Mack Jones's arm strength in the pocket and the way that he can lob up those passes for it to just be right on the money and in the pocket for the perfect catch for Devonta Smith. But other guys can do that. It's Devonta Smith who's burning his receivers, creating space where Mack Jones can just do that every week. So basically what I'm trying to say, I mean, when there's only 12 other touchdowns that he's thrown to other receivers, and a lot of those were Jalen Waddle when he was still in, and now it's been even more Devonta Smith as the year has gone on. I mean, that's all Devonta Smith who's doing that work and making it easy for Mack Jones. So here's my thing. Since Jalen Waddle has got hurt, the reason that Alabama has still been able to put up 50, 60 points is because of Devonta Smith. Yes, they have a great running back in Najee Harris who does a phenomenal job as well. Yes, they have other talented receivers like John Mechie III. But a lot of the reasons that John Mechie is getting the looks that he's getting and other guys on their receiving core as well is because of the attention that Devonta Smith draws. Every single time a team goes in to a defensive game plan, they're going to be like, okay, our number one priority for this Alabama defense, yes, there's a lot of weapons, but look at number 6. We got to stop him. And they haven't been able to. He's just been working the entire country. He hasn't been slowed down. He's, accounted for the majority of Alabama's touchdown receptions, and he's caught, more passes than Mack Jones, or he's caught the majority of Mack Jones's touchdown passes, and Mack Jones has thrown 12 others, so to multiple other receivers, right? So it's just, and that those touchdown passes, I would say, are more Mack Jones on his own, making reads. They're still the receivers making plays, but with Devonta, he's just going to burn his receiver, and Mack can just throw it up, and it's going to be a touchdown. So I think, personally, that the reason Alabama's offense has continued to be so prolific is because of what Devonta Smith brings to the table and how dominant he has been against every corner he's played this year. So he is my Heisman pick personally. I don't think that Kyle Trask should be anywhere near that conversation. Honestly, I don't really think that Mack Jones should be there. I mean, he should be in the conversation, but any other year, like if Trevor Lawrence isn't getting COVID, Trevor Lawrence is winning the Heisman, right? If that doesn't happen, in my personal opinion, if they're undefeated and they beat Notre Dame in that game and he plays a great game, then he's the Heisman frontrunner, no doubt. But because he didn't play those games, that opportunity's kind of taken a little bit away from him. But Trevor's going to be like, damn, that sucks. I didn't win the Heisman, but, the championship's my goal. And then, honestly, in other years, too, where, once again, not a COVID year, maybe the Big Ten plays a full slate, and if Justin Fields is going ballistic, and, let's say that let's give the benefit of the doubt to Indiana, right? They still play Ohio State so close, and he throws those 3 interceptions there, but other than that, Justin Fields plays flawless and has some stats on the ground as well, and Ohio State's undefeated, then he's probably ahead of Mack Jones too. So what I'm trying to say is, you guys know that Mack Jones is a good quarterback, but he's not a Justin Fields. Honestly, he's not even as talented as Zach Wilson, and he's definitely not a Trevor Lawrence, right? You can even say that Kyle Trask is more talented than him, although I would say that while yes, Alabama definitely has the superior roster to Florida, it's not like Florida doesn't have some of the best weapons in the country. So, I think there's an argument to be had between who's better than Kyle Trask and Mack Jones. And Florida fans may not like that, but I mean, don't lose to Texas A&M and LSU, and then that's not a conversation. And that's just the truth, like it or not. But anyways, point is, like I said, they're more talented quarterbacks than Mack Jones. And even if you just look at the stats, and regardless of the stats, just go watch the tape. It's pretty obvious that the guy who is making plays for Alabama's offense and is making them go and opening up the rest of the playbook and the rest of the other playmakers on that offense is number 6, Devonta Smith. And you see this hat, I mean, and yes, while Devonta may be from Emmett City, Louisiana, and I wish he was a LSU Tiger, that's not the case. He's to the biggest rival, the team that I probably dislike the most, but I'm going to be unbiased when I watch my football, and it's just facts. In my opinion, Devonta Smith is my Heisman frontrunner. Tell me what you think in the comments below. This has been some more Strive Network CFB Talk. My name is Jude McClaren. You can follow me on Twitter at Jude McClaren. You can also follow the Strive Network on Twitter at the Strive Network and all that good stuff. Hit the subscribe button, like this video, keep checking it out. We're going to be coming out with more content on the regular on this YouTube channel. So stay tuned, watch our stuff. Give us a like, give us a follow, and let me know in the comments below who your Heisman frontrunner and who you think should win the Heisman this year should be. I'll catch you guys later. God bless.